Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us today as we are continuing our coverage of Ohio versus Bionca Ellis. We are into day 5, but as you know with this trial, we're going to be showing day 4, some testimony of day 4, and a little bit of nothing of day 5 because they didn't show us, they didn't give us anything of day 5. So we're actually going to be showing some of full testimony of day 4. There was, remember, the state rested and the defense put up their first witness. So we're going to watch just a full testimony of it's Dr. Testa, I think her last name is. Dr. Megan Testa. So instead of having her testimony cut off, we're going to actually have her complete testimony here. So as disjointed as this trial has been, we're trying to put as much as we can together for you guys. So and that's where we are. And Kimbers went to the courtroom today, but she was not able to get in. So we're going to see. I think she said she had a story. So we'll see if she's around. Ohio Pom Mom, hello to you. Good to see you. Mary Fitz and Chris Mass coming in. Meadow, thank you for coming in and joining us. Pammy and Bama Green Eyes. Paula, good to see you. Got to get some light on me there. JMS, I believe the closing arguments and the verdict will be streamed live on Tuesday. I sure hope so. I hope the judge lifts that. I really do. I hope judge lifts this, and because it's the testimony that judge was saying he didn't want streamed live. So I hope so. I hope so, JMS. That's good. That's good to know. Joyce, they had this. The testimony we're going to show was from yesterday, because don't forget, when it's live, they can't show it until after it's over. So yesterday we only watched a little bit of that testimony. So today we're going to show all of yesterday's testimony from the one witness. Then from there, Court TV just stopped in the middle of it's really weird. I'll play it. I'll show you guys what happened. It's just very awkward what's going on with this trial. It's incredibly just disjointed. That's all I can say. It's just disjointed, and it is what it is, but we're doing the best we can, we're doing the best we can to get this to you guys. And that's all we can do. All right, hold on. So all that being said, let's get to testimony. All right, so this is going to be the state rested. So this is the defense's first witness. Again, this is from yesterday. So this is the first witness, and we watched a little bit of this yesterday, but now we're going to have the full testimony today. So let's get you over here. Hold on a sec. Let me just give me a moment. All right. So we're going to pick up. This is the state has rested. The state has rested, and Defense is putting up their case. So this is their first witness on the stand, and this is Dr. Megan Testa. She's a forensic psychiatrist. She interviewed Bionca twice, and well, let's just listen to it. So this is defense witness number 1, forensic psychiatrist. So, okay, here we go.
Afternoon. I'll have you sworn in. If you just stand on the side of the witness, you raise your
Yes, sir.
You solemnly swear you're going to testify the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter now before this jury, as you would affirm or answer unto God.
Yes.
All right, thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
I'll just remind you, if you have a cell phone, actually, you can put your purse back here. If it's
Yes.
easier. And is the cell phone off?
Yes.
Very good. Have you testified before?
I
Okay.
I don't have a copy of September 3rd. I lent it for copies to be made.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I gave it back to Mr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you.
You have your CV?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, and so just a couple things. Testified before, so wait till the question is asked in full before you answer, even though you may know the answer. If there's an objection, just stop speaking for me, please.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll let you know what to do after the objection is ruled on. Rob's the court reporter, so he wants to make sure he gets your responses. I have a control of the voice as well as, so I would just ask for you to get comfortable, and if you'd stay in that posture, then I can adjust the microphone. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and all answers are verbal responses, and so why don't you state and spell your name, we'll see how the volume is. Thanks.
Yes, it's Megan Testa, MEGANTESTA.
Thank you. Mr. Mack.
Judge, my understanding is that there's going to be a stipulation as it relates to her expertise in the area of forensic
I
psychiatry.
believe there will be a stipulation, Ms. Bralia?
Yes, there is stipulation.
All right, and so again, ladies and gentlemen, parties have agreed to her expertise in forensic
Psychiatry.
psychiatry. So we're going to allow her to testify as an expert with both parties acknowledging it. Mr. Mack, thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Testa.
Good afternoon.
Can you please tell these jurors your professional title?
My name is Megan Testa. I'm a medical doctor. I specialize in forensic psychiatry.
Okay, and why don't you tell them a little bit about your educational background in the field of psychiatry?
I completed medical school at Case Western Reserve University and earned a medical degree there, an MD. From there, I went to a general adult psychiatry program at university hospitals, Case Medical Centers. I did that psychiatry program in adult psychiatry and graduated in 2011. I took a board certification in adult psychiatry. I completed a fellowship in forensic psychiatry. It's a one-year subspecialty fellowship, and then became board certified in forensic psychiatry as well. I additionally did a public and community psychiatry fellowship as part of my training.
And have you attended or conducted continuing educational seminars, conferences? Yes. Tell us about that.
Yes, I routinely complete continuing medical education. I complete a lot of conferences with the American Academy of Psychiatry and Law. That's our subspecialty organization. I also attend conferences with the American Psychiatric Association to earn those credits. And then AMA offers credits. The American Medical Association will offer credits. I'll keep up the medical part of my expertise through those.
Okay. And I think you touched on it, but you are a member of any professional organizations or societies?
Yes, I'm a member of the American Psychiatric Association. I'm a member of their Ohio chapter, and I've been president of that chapter. I'm a member of the American Academy of Psychiatry and the Law. They have a Midwest chapter. I've been the president of that Midwest chapter as well. And then I have some memberships to other organizations as well.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to, if you could just slow down the pace a little bit from the court reporter.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Have you received any awards or professional recognition? And if you need to, you can refer to your CV, because I know it's...
Yes, I am referring to my CV here. I received in 2023 a Judge Stephen Goss Memorial Award for Leadership. I received from University Hospital's Case Medical Center from the Forensic Fellowship Faculty Excellence Award in 2021. I was granted the Residency Program Director's Outstanding Graduate Award from University Hospitals in 2011, Outstanding Resident in Community Psychiatry in 2009. And then I was a Public Psychiatry Fellow with the APA, which is an honorary fellowship from 2009 to 2011. And I was a Ginsberg Fellow with the Group for the Advancement of Psychiatry between 2008 and 2010.
Okay. And the number of times that you have testified?
Probably about 20.
Okay. And can you tell the members of the jury what is forensic psychiatry?
Yes, so forensic psychiatry, in forensic psychiatry, we focus on the intersection between psychiatry and the law. For me, I focus on the criminal law and where that intersects with psychiatry.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you're not a part of the defense or the prosecution? You're a neutral evaluator appointed by the court?
That's correct. I don't do private expert witness work at all. I work for North Coast Behavioral Health Care, which is a state hospital, and then I work for the Cleveland Municipal Court. In both of those positions, I'm a neutral court-appointed evaluator only. In this case, I was a neutral court-appointed evaluator.
Okay. Did there come a time when you were ordered by the Court of Common Pleas to evaluate Ms. Bionca Ellis for competency?
Yes.
Okay. And you met with Ms. Ellis where?
I met with Ms. Ellis at North Coast Behavioral Health Care. I worked there from 2011 to 2012 full-time in competency restoration work, and then since I left that position, I've been a consultant there, and I visit there about once a week, and I do forensic consultation there. So my occasion to see Ms. Ellis was a part of my work at North Coast Behavioral. I was assigned to evaluate her case when she was admitted for a 20-day competency evaluation. She was admitted in August of 2024, and that's when I first evaluated her.
Okay. And can you tell us about the evaluation, the process that you would go through as it relates to evaluating her?
Yes. With a competency evaluation, what my job is to evaluate the person who's facing charges. I do a full mental health evaluation on them. That's a standard psychiatric interview and a diagnostic interview. Then there are two questions for me. Whether the person has a present mental condition is the first question. And the second question is whether that condition is impairing her, what's called her adjudicative capacities. So that has two arms. I need to decide if she can understand the nature and objectives of the proceedings that she's facing, and then if she's able to assist in her defense. So that is a standard competence to stand trial evaluation. You first decide if the person has a present mental condition, and then can they understand the proceedings, and if the third thing is if they can assist in their defense.
Okay. You reviewed her complete treatment and behavioral records from August of 2024 through January 2025?
That's correct. So the first time that I saw her, what I reviewed for the first, what's called a 20-day evaluation, what I reviewed at that time was the hospital records that were available at that time, which was from August 26th through September 3rd. That was for the first evaluation. I also was assigned to do her follow-up competency reevaluation. That I did in January. And for that, I reviewed her full treatment record from August 26th all the way through to February 1st.
All right. Did you review prior competency evaluations by Dr. Sarah West and Dr. Hatters Friedman as well?
Yes. As a standard part of a competency evaluation, we will review any prior competency evaluations. So Ms. Ellis had been evaluated twice for competence prior to being referred to North Coast for what's called a 20-day inpatient competency evaluation. So when I was doing the 20-day evaluation, I reviewed both of those competency evaluations.
Okay. Before interviewing Ms. Ellis, you informed her that you were conducting a forensic evaluation and not providing treatment. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And do you explain to her whether or not this is done in confidentiality?
Yes. So typically when you see a psychiatrist, it's private. That's sort of the whole point. You want it to be private. You want to say whatever you need to say. With a forensic evaluation, you do not have privacy. So I did inform Ms. Ellis, I will not be your treating psychiatrist. You and I will not be a patient and a doctor. I'm assigned to evaluate an issue for the court. That's the extent of our relationship, and anything you tell me can be included in this report.
Okay. And did she have a response when you communicated that to her?
When I saw her in September, in August, for the September report, she did have a response. Her response, in part, was bizarre. She asked me about Jesus Christ and where he was crucified, and she made some other bizarre statements about Matthew and Jesus and taxes. I did repeat to her, explaining the purpose of my evaluation, and explained non-confidentiality, and asked her if she was willing to proceed with the interview, and she did shake her head yes, that she had understanding and agreed to proceed.
Okay. Doctor, based on your review, Ms. Ellis has a long history of severe mental illness dating back to at least 2014. Is that correct?
That's correct. There are records from a community mental health center. It's called Murtis Taylor. They specialize in treatment of severe and persistent mental illness. She has been a client with them since November of 2014. And typically, individuals with mental illness don't necessarily get treatment when they first develop symptoms. Sometimes it takes a minute. So I would say definitely she had that illness in November 2014, but probably before.
So she's been diagnosed with schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder in multiple hospital settings?
That's correct. The Cleveland Clinic records show that she was admitted at Lutheran and Marymount and diagnosed there. And then she had a referral to another hospital by Metro Health and was diagnosed there as well.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors what are the symptoms of schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder? What is that?
Yes. Schizophrenia is what we call a thought disorder. So with schizophrenia, the mind breaks from reality. The word schizophrenia means split mind. It's not to mean split personalities. It's that the mind itself is splitting from reality. So the symptoms that you'll have is your thoughts are not with reality anymore. People will believe things that aren't true. They have delusions, which is a fixed false belief. You cannot convince the person otherwise. That thinking is coming from the same part of the brain that produces real thought. So it feels like any of us would feel about something that we know is true. People will also have hallucinations with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. That means that their senses are firing when there's not something real there. Most common in schizophrenia, people will hear voices, comes in through your ears. It's coming from that same lobe of the brain where real hearing comes from, so it sounds very real. People will also see visions, is pretty common in schizophrenia. Disorganization of thinking. Thoughts become really jumbled. So people will go from one thought to the next, and the associations between those thoughts we call them loose. It's like you can't really follow it. You can't follow what they're saying. People will have disorganized behavior as well. Their behavior, you watch it and it makes no sense why they're kind of engaging in the behavior that they're engaging in. There is cognitive deficits as well in schizophrenia. There's some affective symptoms that you'll see. There's a blunted affect, so they don't show the normal range of expression that we would expect an individual to show. So that expression is blunted. The expression can also be very inappropriate. So people can smile and laugh for no reason, frown for no reason. The affect is really not matching the emotional expression that they're having. It's not matching what's going on in the environment. That's typical of schizophrenia. Schizoaffective disorder, what that is schizophrenia with an affective or a mood component. So people will have schizophrenia, they'll meet criteria for schizophrenia, and they will also have mood disorder as well, be it bipolar disorder with mania and depression or depressive disorder with just depression.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In September of 2024, did you generate a report identifying your involvement in this case?
Yes,
And did you opine certain things?
I did.
Okay. And did you do the same in February of 2025?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibits I, which is the September 2024 report, September 3rd. And then the February 3rd, 2025 report is going to be identified as Exhibit H. Yeah, may I approach?
You may. September.
Can you take a look at those and identify those? Look at H first. Which report is that? Is it the February report?
Yes, sir. H is the February report, and this is the report that I authored at North Coast Behavioral.
Okay. And then I is the September 2024 report.
Yes, that's correct. This is my initial report, the September report. There is also a second report here as well. That's because there was a forced medication order requested, so that is also attached here.
Okay, thank you. I want to get back to what you were discussing about the symptoms. You talked about the symptoms of schizophrenia. As a result of your involvement, did you learn whether or not Ms. Ellis had been hospitalized?
Yes, I did. In the information that I had available to me to review, there was evidence of 4 psychiatric hospitalizations. I'm going to refer to my report so that I can give you accurate information about those.
Which report are you referring to?
The initial September 3rd report.
Okay.
And what page?
Which page?
If we go to page 5.
Thank you.
Okay. So the review of records that I did, this was records that were summarized in Dr. Hatters-Friedman's competency report. Those records showed that she was hospitalized in November of 2015. At that time, she was taken to the emergency department at Lutheran Hospital. Her mother had taken her there because she was not taking medications at the time. She had not slept for 5 days. She was hearing voices. She was expressing suicidal thoughts. She was experiencing these voices raping her and wanting to impregnate her. She thought there was a prophet involved. She was admitted to psychiatry at that time, and she was stabilized on. And yes.
So for reading it all, if you would just read slowly for the court.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
She was treated with a combination of antipsychotic and mood stabilizing medications, and she was stabilized through that hospitalization. It was a 5-day hospitalization.
Thank you.
Is that better? That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
We all do that. We all read faster anyway, so I just want to make sure Rob gets
I
it.
speak quickly too, so slow me
Yes.
down at any time.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. And again, on
Would you care-
page,
I'm sorry, I'm just going to sort of cut to it.
yes,
From November 2015
yes,
and December 2015, February 2016, October 2018, up to June of 2021, do you know if she was hospitalized further?
yes, 3 additional hospitalizations
Okay,
due to presenting to the emergency room off medications.
okay. And then in September of 2023, on page 6 of 14,
Yes.
was she hospitalized again?
Can you repeat the date?
September 2023,
Yes,
okay? And can you tell us about that?
yes. She had been taken to the Fairview Emergency Department. She had called 911 at that time. She stated that she didn't feel safe. She had been out of medications for about a month. She was unable to obtain refills in the community. She was seeing visions of people coming out of her walls to try to kill her at night. She was talking about Albert Einstein and a bowl of ants. She had been able to sleep. This record stated that she was visibly hallucinating at that time. They admitted her to Marymount Hospital, and she required an 11-day hospitalization and was stabilized on antipsychotic medication at that time.
Okay. And then it looks like, again, in October 2023, there was some issue with her medications. Is that correct?
That's correct. She had run out of the medications that she received through hospitalization and was hearing voices. The voices were telling her to kill herself. She developed some suicidal thinking. She had cut her arm with a razor. She was taken to the emergency room. She, in the emergency room, was talking about paranoia of food. She hadn't been eating. She was also talking about seeing visions of whales and fish, voices telling her to go to war. She was talking about martial law, airborne disease. Disorganized thinking was noted in the medical record. She was hospitalized and stabilized again on antipsychotic medication. It was a 7-day hospitalization.
Let me take you into 2024. In February 2024,
Yes.
was she again at the hospital?
She was.
Tell us about that.
Yes. She was pink slipped at that time. What that is that's like an emergency order that police can write stating that someone should be evaluated in an emergency room due to a mental health crisis. So
I'll jump in again. So just,
slow you down.
yeah, just, you know you're fast too, so I want to make sure Rob's able to do it. I know he's going at a high rate with you, so I'll
Yes.
just ask you to be mindful, if you can, of just slowing down.
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead. Your question again was about that last hospitalization?
Yeah. In February 2024, was she hospitalized again?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Tell us about that.
She had been taken to an emergency room by police. They had ordered that she be admitted, evaluated in the emergency room. So when she got to the emergency room, police told the professionals there that she had called and asked to be arrested for murder and conspiracy. There was no evidence for arrest for that. She was agitated in the emergency room. She was engaging in threatening behavior, bizarre behavior, screaming. She threatened self-harm. She was evaluated and stated to be hallucinating. She had delusional beliefs, talking about the murder of El Chapo, and she was hearing voices of mafia individuals talking. And she was recommended for hospitalization, noted to have acute decompensation of chronic psychotic disorder. They evaluated her and they set for a transfer to an outside hospital. There were no beds at Metro.
All right. Let me take you to the date of the incident.
Yes.
June 6th of 2024, while Ms. Ellis was in jail, do you know if she was evaluated by a psychiatrist? And I'm referring to the top of page 7 of 14.
Yes. So she was jailed in the Cuyahoga County Jail shortly after the offense, and that was on June 6th. She saw the psychiatrist who works in the jail. His name is Dr. Baskin, and he evaluated her. He noted that she was limited in her willingness to engage with him. She spoke to him in a curt manner. He described her as being bizarre in many of her answers, disjointed, and paranoid. And he, on that day, he diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder, and he prescribed her Haldol, an antipsychotic medication, and he prescribed Cogentin for side effects, but she refused to take the medication. She said it was unnecessary and did not take it.
So let me stop you there. I misspoke. That's not the date of the incident. That's 3 days after the incident.
Correct.
Is that when she met Dr. Baskin in the
That's
county jail?
correct.
Okay. Ms. Ellis also was seen by a Ms. Stevenson, a social worker. Can you tell us the observations that were part of your evaluation?
Yes. So Miss Stevenson, she's a social worker who works in the Cuyahoga County Jail. She noted that Ms. Ellis was seen sitting on the floor in her jail cell with no clothes on whatsoever. She was fixated on an investigation. She was eating her food with her hands instead of the silverware. She was making illogical statements, talking about dinosaurs, things that made no sense.
Okay. I want to take you back to the questions that we were discussing before we got into your report. And there's some history of non-compliance with her medication, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is that something that's typical with this population? And when I say this population, I'm talking about people who suffer from psychosis, schizophrenia, and other disorders?
Yes, it's typical. It's estimated that about 50% of people with schizophrenia are non-compliant with medications at some point in time. So it's very typical.
Okay. And can you speak to the voluntariness of it, or the voluntariness of it? Is that something that, why is it a part of that population? Why so high, 50%?
There are a lot of reasons for medication non-compliance. So in the population of individuals with schizophrenia, one symptom of schizophrenia is a lack of insight. So as we were talking about earlier, it feels real to the person with schizophrenia. What they are thinking feels real, what they're experiencing feels real. If you or I were told to take a medication and we did not think we had the disorder that we were being told to take the medication for, we would probably not take it. So for a lot of individuals with schizophrenia, that's how it feels. They think what they're going through is real. They're not going to take a medication for a disorder that they don't believe they have. And so poor insight, it's very common in psychosis and in schizophrenia, and that can lead to medication noncompliance. There are other reasons too, difficulty accessing care in the community, running out, missing your appointment, and then if you get off your meds a little bit, you can backslide very quickly, and then you're in a state where you don't want to take your meds. So that's why it happens, and it's very common.
Okay. Be fair to say that based on your review of the records and your experience with her, that she generally improved when she would take medication?
There's very clear evidence of that.
Okay. And was there some point in time that you had, or someone had discussion about the number of children that she had?
Yes, she was expressing, the first time that I interviewed her at North Coast, she expressed that she had 23 children. She stated that she had these 23 children when she was in the kindergarten.
Okay. When she was in kindergarten?
Yes, sir.
And was that part of her schizoaffective thinking or schizophrenic thinking?
Yes, that was part of her thought disorder. When I met her in September or late August for the September report, she did not believe it was part of her thought disorder. She believed it was true. She believed this interfered with her schooling. She was crying at night at North Coast, wanting to find these children that she believed were taken from her. So she believed that was true. When I saw her in January on medications, she said that that was part of her schizoaffective thinking, was the word that she used. But she had gained insight on medications that that was not true.
Okay. She also described delusions involving NASA, Queen Elizabeth, the FBI. Can you tell us about those?
Yes, when I met with her in August, she expressed a number of very bizarre ideas. She talked about the FBI, conspiracies. She talked about espionage. She talked about Jesus Christ in the Bible, Matthew from the Bible, and him in taxes, related with taxes. She talked about people walking on water. She spoke of noise pollution, having these 23 children, and she also did speak about Queen Elizabeth and.
Okay. And those thoughts are consistent with psychotic illness rather than rational thinking. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Let's talk a little bit about her course of treatment. at North Coast Behavioral. When Ms. Ellis was first admitted at North Coast in August of 2024, I saw the term she was floridly psychotic. Is that correct?
That's
Can you
correct.
tell the jurors what that means?
The word floridly psychotic or also grossly psychotic is a term that means that they are displaying symptoms of severe psychosis.
Okay. Was she disorganized in thought and speech?
She was very disorganized. Her thoughts were one to the next, FBI, Queen Elizabeth. None of it was linking together or linking with reality.
Okay. And initially, did she refuse or did she comply with taking medication?
She refused medications. So she refused medications in the jail. That continued until she got to North Coast. She refused medications at North Coast. She told me she would not take any medications prescribed to her by her treating psychiatrist. The reason was she said she didn't need it. She also had some delusions about the pharmaceutical industry, and she believed that her disorder could be treated with bananas, riboflavin, and apples.
Okay. And a forced medication order was eventually obtained in September 2024, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And what is that? What happens with that?
A forced medication order can be issued by courts. So it can be issued by a probate court or a criminal court. In this case, when I saw Miss Ellis, my opinion was that she was ill and that she required medications. It would be in her best interest to take medications, that medications would be the least restrictive manner to relieve her suffering and alleviate her symptoms, and that it was the only way to restore her competence to stand trial would be through medications. That was my opinion at the time. Her treating psychiatrist, Dr. Vanderkar, had opined the same, that she lacked the capacity to really understand the benefit of medications, that medications would help her, and that it was the only way to restore her competency. So based on an opinion of two different doctors, two independent doctors, the court can issue an order to say that that patient must take medications whether they choose to or not, because it is in their best interest and they deserve a chance at that treatment. So that was issued in this case, a forced medication order to provide Ms. Ellis with treatment.
And after that order, she began taking Haldol, and is it clozapine or clozapine?
Clozapine.
Okay.
She,
Is that correct?
She did.
Okay.
Dr. Vanderkar initially prescribed Haldol. That's an antipsychotic medication. She tried to bring that medication to a therapeutic dose, but Miss Ellis had some side effects, some anxiety, and some motor effects. She tried to treat that side effect with the medication Ativan, but she didn't respond well to Haldol. At that point, she offered Miss Ellis the medication clozapine. The medication clozapine is reserved for treatment-resistant schizophrenia or treatment-resistant psychosis. So as a psychiatrist, I can only prescribe clozapine to people whose illness is what we call treatment-resistant. So if they have failed to fully respond to other medications, at least two, then I can try them on this medication clozapine. So because her illness was deemed to be treatment-resistant, Dr. Vanderkar started clozapine for her.
Okay, and once the clozapine was introduced, was there gradual and sustained improvement observed?
Yes, there was. So her course with clozapine, the reason why it's reserved is because there are a lot of side effects to monitor for. And Miss Ellis has some physical health issues as well. So balancing the medication, the side effects, monitoring her other health conditions, that made the process of treating her complicated for Dr. Vanderkar. So there were some ups and some downs where she would do better and then they'd have to hold off on raising the dose, or they'd even have to lower the dose. At a point they had to stop the medications and obtain a consult from a cardiologist to ensure it was safe for Miss Ellis's heart to continue to take that medication. So it was a gradual course with some ups and downs, but what was clear in the North Coast chart was that she continuously improved on clozapine to the point where her thoughts became organized, her thoughts became reality-based, she stopped hallucinating, and she was able to engage in competency restoration groups and stabilize on that medication.
Would it be fair to say her competency was restored through consistent antipsychotic medication over time?
Yes.
Okay. Your January 2025 evaluation, was Ms. Ellis alert and oriented?
She was.
Okay. And again, you attribute that to the medication?
Yes.
Okay. She was able to identify her charges and understood that they were very serious, even mentioning the death penalty. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Was she able to identify various plea options, including not guilty by reason of insanity?
Yes.
Okay. Does she understand the courtroom roles of each person involved?
She did.
Judge, prosecutor, defense lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. And before, she never had the ability to do that until she started taking the medication. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is it true that she still carries an active diagnosis of schizophrenia?
Yes. Schizophrenia is a brain disorder. So once you have it, it's a lifelong brain disorder. It does not go away. It's chronic illness.
Without medication, would her symptoms likely return?
Absolutely. I mean, we know it for most people, that's true. But we know it as a fact for Miss Ellis because we have her records. It's very clear from her records when she stops medication or when she runs out, her symptoms return.
Okay. Even with medication, individuals with schizophrenia can experience intermittent relapses. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true. That's why, as psychiatrist, I see my patients with schizophrenia at least once a month. If once they were on meds, their symptoms would be gone forever, we would have no need for follow-up. You know, we would just put them on those medications, and that would be that. But it's not how it is. That's why we need ongoing visits. We might need to titrate medications or change them.
Okay. In your February 2025 report, did you opine and make certain findings?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors what those are?
Yes. So my first role, as we talked about, was competency evaluation. My second role was, again, competency evaluation. So when I saw her on January 15th, I was evaluating, does she have a present mental condition? Can she understand the proceedings she faced? And can she assist in her defense? I did opine with reasonable medical certainty that she had schizophrenia. That was my diagnosis of her. That I based upon her long, well-established history of delusions. So those are the fixed false beliefs, as well as her disorganized thinking and her auditory hallucinations. So that established a diagnosis of schizophrenia. So my first opinion was that she did have a present mental condition. My second opinion was that she, despite her mental condition, was able to understand the nature and the objectives of the proceedings she faced. And that was because she was on the antipsychotic medications. Okay? And then my third opinion was the same, that she could, in fact, assist her defense because she was stabilized on the medication.
Okay. You would agree that if she discontinued her medication, her symptoms could return?
Her symptoms would return. So it's not even a could. Her symptoms, yes, they would return.
And if that occurred, she would again become incompetent to stand trial. Is that correct?
She could. She would require a reevaluation.
All right. And in your report, again, you note she still has schizophrenia, has a present mental condition right now. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And is it your contention that that condition existed at the time of your evaluation and likely existed long before her arrest?
Yes, it existed since 2015 per the records.
Okay. All right. In her prior psychotic hospitalizations or psychiatric hospitalizations and delusional thinking predates the charged offense. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And those records that you have reviewed reflect a pattern of losing touch with reality when she's off of her medication. Is that correct?
Yes, that's very clear in the records.
Okay. Now, let's be clear. Your evaluation focused on competency to stand trial. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. Not Ms. Ellis's mental state at the time of the alleged offense. Is that correct?
I did not evaluate sanity. That was not my role.
Okay. So you were not asked to give the opinion of whether or not she knew the wrongfulness or not of her conduct in this case. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So your report does not address her sanity at the time of the offense?
It does not. I wasn't assigned to do that, and so I did not even ask the questions one would ask to perform a sanity evaluation.
Okay. But you are able to say that her same mental illness would have been present at the time of the offense. Is that
Yes, she had schizophrenia. She was ill at the time, but I don't have an opinion on legal sanity because I did not do that evaluation.
correct? Okay. Even though you didn't do the evaluation, have you ever done an evaluation for sanity?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jurors what goes into doing that kind of evaluation as opposed to something for competency?
Sure. Competency is, when I do a competency evaluation, what I do is I meet with the person that I am assigned to evaluate, and it's an evaluation of them at the moment that I'm seeing them. What is their mental state at that moment? And then do they have what's called adjudicative capacity? So can they understand their charges, how the courtroom works, and can they assist their lawyer at that moment in time? That's what I was assigned to do, and that's what I did twice. A sanity evaluation is very different. What a person who is doing a sanity evaluation will do is they will go back. Once a person is competent, they will sit with them. They will gather from them their account of the days preceding the offense, their account of their mental condition around the time of the offense. They'll get their account of the offense itself, and then they'll review extensive records from collateral sources, hospital records, maybe emergency room records, police records, anything from the time of the crime. The role of someone who's evaluating sanity is to look at the time of the crime and make some determinations about how the person was then, why they did what they did, and whether their illness interfered with their ability to know it was wrong. That's a sanity evaluation. That I did not do.
Okay. Is mental illness limited to a particular group?
No, it is not.
Okay. Doesn't matter how much money you have, what color you are, what your
No.
age is.
No, we all have brains. It's a brain disorder, so it doesn't discriminate.
Okay. When someone, whether they're on medication or not, you can have a psychotic episode. Is that fair to say?
That's correct.
Okay. And we talk about psychotic episodes. What are we talking about?
To talk about a psychotic episode, it's not something that's in the diagnostic manual. So, but how we use that term is the person is having active symptoms. So I could have a patient who has psychosis, but they're on their meds and they are not having a psychotic episode at that time. The psychotic episode would be when the symptoms are present and those symptoms are active.
When active, can a person follow simple instructions?
Yes, a person with active psychosis can indeed follow a simple instruction, absolutely.
For example, get down on the ground, drop whatever you have in your hand. Is that something, hypothetically, that a person would still be able to follow that instruction even if it's active?
Yes, a person in psychosis could follow an instruction such as that.
Okay? And can they cooperate and be compliant even while their illness is active?
Yes.
Okay? Does the brain completely shut down, or do you still have some intelligence to communicate with other individuals?
You can communicate with other individuals with schizophrenia and with an active psychosis.
And information that you've learned over the course of time, can you still retain that information and articulate that information during communications with anyone?
Yes.
Okay. I hope that was a good question. I believe that you also opined at the time in your September 2024 report, you had some opinions then, is that correct?
Yes.
And by the way, are each of your opinions in the January report and February report with a medical degree of scientific certainty?
Yes. All opinions that I'm offering today are to a reasonable degree of medical certainty.
Okay. Tell us about your January 2024 opinion.
Are you asking me about the January opinion?
I'm sorry, January 2024.
Or the September?
September 2024. I got my dates mixed up.
Yes, sir. September 2024, that was when I initially saw Miss Ellis. My opinion at that time, she was presenting at that time with florid psychosis. Her thoughts were all over the place. When I did her competency evaluation, she was making a number of bizarre statements. I'm going to reference my report.
Okay.
1 second. So, on page 11 of that report, she was able to tell me that she was facing charges, but she was not able to name them. She was not able to say why she was arrested. What she was saying was really neither here nor there. She did know that her charges were serious, but was very blasé about it. She wasn't really, she didn't seem affected by it. She had a very, very unusual affect, which is her emotional expression. So she was smiling and smirking and laughing for no reason, with no type of event happening that should elicit that type of a response. That's common in schizophrenia as well. And then she talked about Jim Crow, Albert Einstein, relativity, NASA, and she was not able to give any information relevant to court. She also kind of was disengaged, so she was not able to really engage with me like the way that I would expect. She didn't really have much eye contact. She lowered her forearms to the table at one point and laid her head down on her forearms. Slow down?
Just a little fast.
Yes. She would derail in conversation. I tried to screen her long-term memory by asking her past presidents. She started talking about LeBron James and Jesus Christ. She talked to me about medications and that those would not be anything she would take. Talked about bananas being needed for her mental illness, riboflavin. I opined that she had an unspecified schizophrenia spectrum disorder at that time. I could see that she was disorganized and she was hallucinating. But what I couldn't tell was if there was a mood component to her illness or not at that time. So I gave her a diagnosis of unspecified schizophrenia spectrum disorder at that time. So I opined that that was a present mental condition. I opined that she could not assist in her defense due to that mental condition. I also opined that there would be no way to restore her competency without medications. I opined that she lacked the capacity to make those decisions about medications in her best interest, and that a forced medication order would be necessary.
Over what period of time while she was at North Coast did you have the opportunity to observe her behavior?
I observed her on those directly on the two occasions that I evaluated her. I reviewed her full medical chart with
Got it.
24/7 nursing observations and all the notes from all the medical professionals.
Okay. And the first date that you saw her was when?
August 28th,
Okay.
2024.
Is it your opinion that her mental illness or schizophrenia was active at that time?
Yes.
Did you have the occasion to watch any video of Miss Ellis at her arraignment for her legal proceedings?
Yes, I saw that.
And the observations that you made when you first met her in person and what you saw in those videos, was that consistent with your observations at North Coast?
Yes, her presentation in the arraignments is similar to her presentation at North Coast with the disengaging, leaning down, the bizarre affect. That is all consistent.
Would you recognize that video if I showed it to you?
Yes,
And can I ask you some questions about that video?
yes,
Identified as been marked as Exhibit E for the record.
Thank you.
Is there audio on this one? We're going to also play Defense Exhibit C. I believe that one has audio. And if it doesn't, we'll go to a small mini laptop.
You go to the right on the bottom. Is it unmuted? It was muted at the time, so now it'll.
Date was 10/29/2020 as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and/or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024,
There's also a clip she responds to that. Dr. Testa, to the ordinary person, she looks like she's laughing
correct.
while the judge is identifying the most serious of charges. Is there an explanation for that?
Well, as a psychiatrist looking at that behavior does not fit the setting. That does not fit the occasion. It's what we would call an incongruent affect or an incongruent emotional expression. The behavior is just not appropriate for the setting. She also looks to the side at points or looks up. That could indicate that she's perceiving something that none of us can perceive, that is in fact funny or is in fact amusing, but we cannot perceive that. That's another explanation for that behavior. What I can say is that is the behavior that we observed at North Coast while she was off medications. When she got onto medications, that behavior stopped.
Does she have the ability to control her actions if her illness is active?
One can control their actions. It's a broad question, but people with schizophrenia, they don't lose the ability to do like simple things. So it would really depend. It's a very broad question, but just having schizophrenia doesn't eliminate all your ability to control your actions.
Could she have stopped what she was doing there if her illness is active?
That symptom is not controllable. So if that indeed is a symptom of schizophrenia, that affective inappropriateness, that is not controllable.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take one moment to confer with Mr. Johnson, if I may, Your Honor. You may. When her illness has been active over these many years, did she have a tendency to act violent?
There is described in the medical records periods of time when she is off her medications that she is aggressive. So there is description of that in the Metro Health record from her ED visit. There is also description of that in the North Coast records. Prior to stabilizing on medications, she was aggressive on several occasions, requiring like an emergency dose of medications, and she was involved in 3 separate acts of aggression against others before she stabilized on medications.
And when she stabilized with medications, is there any documented behavior of aggression or violence?
At North Coast, which is the extended period of records that I was able to review for her, once she stabilized on the clozapine, or once she began to stabilize on the clozapine, there were no further assaultive behavior, no further aggression in that North Coast hospitalization.
All right. By the way, that video that we showed you, defendants exhibits E and C, and are you aware that she responded to the judge in Spanish?
No.
Okay. Judge, thank you for your patience. Thank you for answering my questions.
Yes.
Sidebar, please, dear Fernando.
All right, that was a lot to digest, so let's dive into that. Now, keep in mind, this is a court-appointed witness. The defense did not call this witness, and we saw this in Carlos as well, Carlos Dominguez. Carlos had, I think, 2 psychologists, 1 psychiatrist, and 2 therapists. So this is a court-appointed witness, not called by the defense. So to me, what she says is like she's neutral. I mean, she says she's neutral. So, matter of fact, that's what pretty much comes right out of the gates. She says she's neutral and she's appointed by the court. So I've been waiting to hear the experts. You know, I have my own opinions. I see what has transpired, and but I wanted to hear what an expert said. So let's go through it. So Dr. Megan Test, and then we'll get to her cross. So Dr. Megan Test is a forensic psychiatrist, neutral and appointed by the court. She met Bionca and evaluated her. She can understand the proceedings and participate in her defense. So her first evaluation was August 26th through the 3rd. So January, she had another evaluation. So she reviewed other doctors' evaluations. She said Bionca's response was bizarre, asks about Jesus and where he was crucified. She understood enough to proceed the evaluation. She reviews November 2014 records from Murtis Taylor. She was diagnosed in 2 hospitals and then another one. So it's 3 hospitals that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Thoughts are not... so schizophrenia, mind breaks with reality. If you guys have watched Ed Gein, I don't know, Ed Gein right now is really popular on Netflix. And I have my own opinions on that. But there's one point where he's in the facility. He does, spoiler alert, sorry, he does get caught, and he is put into a facility. And the doctor explains it. It's like your mind is like glass, and it just shatters. And you're trying to connect all these thoughts, and you just can't. You just can't. So that's why I'm thinking when after we saw that, and now I'm watching Bionca, I'm like, her mind is just fractured, right? It's like glass. It's just shattered. So, schizophrenia, mind breaks with reality. Thoughts are not reality. Delusions are fixed thoughts. Hallucinations, you hear voices, you see visions. You have disorganized thoughts, loose associations and behavior. Cognitive deficits, blunted and maybe inappropriate. Smile, laugh, frowning, not matching the environment. So that we know she's very, to us, when she's at her arraignment and she's sitting there, that face right there, she's sitting there smiling at the camera. We're like, what are you doing? How can you do that? She doesn't know what she's doing. Her thoughts are just all over the place. She has no concept she's even doing that. All right. So then we go to September 2024 and January 2025. She generated reports. She did the forced meds order. So there's 4 hospitalizations. There's records of her being hospitalized 4 times. November of 2015, her mom took her to the ER because she was not taking her meds. She had not slept for 5 days. She had thoughts of people abusing her, and a prophet was involved. She was treated with meds. She spent 5 days in the hospital. She had 3 more ER visits. So that's 4 visits to the ER, all because she was off of her meds. September of 2023, she calls 911 that she's out of her meds. She's been off of them for about a month. She was seeing visions of people coming out of the wall and trying to take her out. She talks about Einstein and ants. She was in the hospital for 11 days at that point. Then there's another incident where she's talking about martial law and going to war. She's in the hospital for 7 days at that point. Then there's another incident of February 2024 where law enforcement bring her into the ER, and law enforcement told the doctors there that Ellis called and asked to be arrested, that she was screaming in the lobby. She was threatening self-harm. She was hearing voices about El Chapo. She was hearing voices about the mafia. Then we get to June 6th, which is 3 days after. It's 3 days after the event. She was jailed, and she saw a Dr. Baskin. He noted she was limited in willingness to engage. She was bizarre in many of her answers. She was disjointed. He diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder. Then she met with a social worker, Miss Stevenson. She had no clothes on, and she was sitting on the jail floor. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more evidence we need. I mean, sitting on a jail floor with no clothes on, eating with her hands, talking about dinosaurs. And here's Shore Life. You brought this up. Poor little Julian there. He had a Psychosaurus super chat to not tell my early opinion. Thank you, Psychosaurus. Oh, here, let me move this over. Appreciate your super chat to not tell your early opinion. Okay, so do not tell your early opinion. So poor little Julian, and Short Life, you were the one that pulled that out. He had a little dinosaur shirt on, so maybe the dinosaurs, something triggered her, something set her off. Who knows? We don't know. We do not know. That's the I guess that's the problem. We just don't know. Like, we try to wrap our heads around this, we try to wrap our minds around this, and I just don't think I can. I don't know if you guys can. I can't. I try to, and I'm just like, I just can't. On both ends of the spectrum, I can't wrap my head around why somebody would do this, and I can't wrap my head around somebody's brain is so disjointed that they're acting that way. I just can't, So, let's see. I tried to, but it's I just can't do it. So, I let others, give me their opinions, and I'm like, okay, then I can put things in perspective and be like, okay, so hearing from this expert, I'm like, okay, I can get behind this. On one hand, I'd like to hear the other hand. Is there going to be another person that comes in? Is state going to have a rebuttal saying, yeah, no, she's making this all up, or what? I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, because there's always two sides of the story. But as we heard with Carlos, and I always go back to him because I learned so much from Carlos Dominguez, and their experts. I go back to that, and like the malingering, and you just can't, if you truly are in a state of psychosis, you cannot lie your way through it. You just can't. The test just, you can't lie your way through it. It's designed to make it so you can't lie your way through it. I still want to take a test. I would love to take a test and just see what it's like. So Rex, maybe we can do that as an experiment one time. I can take a test and see, and go through this and see what the deal is. All right, so let's see. She was running out of her meds. She was missing appointments. If you get off meds, you backslide very quickly, and you don't want to get back on, right? So very clear evidence Ellis improved taking meds. First time interview. Here's wow. So the first time she was interviewed, she told the doctor she had 23 children while in kindergarten. And then I think, even if she's making this up, which she's not, but I'm sorry, I have to chuckle. I'm like, man, that's a story. I mean, what mind comes up with that? What mind can come up with that? Oh, I had 23 children while I'm in kindergarten. I mean, ask yourself that. Ask yourself that question. That's interesting. So then let's see. So a thought disorder. So in late August, she believed what was that was true. So that was called a thought disorder. So she believed in late August, that interview, that she did indeed have 23 children, and that interfered with her schooling. And then she talked about the FBI and espionage. She talked about Jesus and Matthew and taxes. She talked about noise pollution. She talked about Queen Elizabeth. We don't know what she said about any of this. She refused to take her meds in jail until she was put into North Coast, which is a facility there. We looked them up on day one. The reason was she didn't need it. She didn't want to take meds even when she got to North Coast. She said she had delusions with pharmaceuticals. She felt that she could be treated with bananas, riboflavin, and apples. She was alert and oriented in January, though. So then she goes through this treatment, and then now January comes along, and she was alert and oriented, and she knew even the DP was mentioned. So she realized, she knew about her charges. She understood the penalty. She understood the different roles, the judge, the prosecutor, her defense. So she feels she has schizophrenia due to her delusions, hallucinations, her disorganized thinking. She currently has it, and she had it as far back as 2015, if not further, because that's when she first started to go to hospitals. So then here's where Dr. Was it Testa? Yeah, Dr. Testa says they can understand their charges. They actually can. Oh, wait, let's see. Can they understand their charges? Okay, I'm sorry. So the question is, can you understand your charges and assist your lawyer? And she did that twice. So she was talking then about a sanity evaluation. So a sanity evaluation, you'll sit with them and you'll gather a count of days preceding the event versus schizophrenia, I guess. So brain disorder doesn't discriminate. Okay, here's where it says they can cooperate and be compliant while active. So that's why the state was asking all the law enforcement, the officers, saying, she was compliant. She dropped the knife. Get on the ground. She was compliant. She was able to. she was compliant. She was able to hear directives and obey those directives. So this doctor is saying, yeah, you can still be in a state of psychosis, active, and you can still be compliant. So September of 2024, she had, I think it was floored psychosis. Thoughts were all over the place. She was hallucinating, but she couldn't tell if there was a mood component. She could not assist in her defense at that point. She needed meds and forced medication was ordered. August 28th, 2024 was the first time that they met each other, or they met. Schizophrenia was active at that point. Then they showed this arraignment video, and there's her smiling there. And the defense is like, it's, many people will see that and they're like, she's smiling. Like, can you please explain that? And Dr. Testa was like, it's inappropriate actions like smiling. It's not controllable. So she can't even control that. So I can't even imagine being like that. Like, here you are, you're being charged with like just the most terrible, horrendous, heartbreaking, crime, that can be committed in our society, right? Taking the life of a child like that, and you can't control your emotion, and your emotion comes out like that. It's like, I just can't. I can't imagine that. There's evidence of her being aggressive prior to stabilization. All right, so let's see. What are you guys talking about? Want some coffee? Giving some hearts. Crochet Nana. After that 3-day hold, I took care of her for a year. It was horrible, more horrible than losing your. All right, so you're talking about something else. Let me see. Let's see. Jen, yes. Please do not use terms like crazy. Let's go with, well, what did she called it? A brain disorder, mental illness. Let's go with, let's not use crazy because that's just offensive this time. So let's use another, I think brain disorder is what the doctor used. If that's cool, then we'll go that. Yes, Kimbers. Yes. I believe crosses over now. Yeah. No, let's do it. Kimbers, call. Yes. Please call. Yes, that's what I wanted you to call now. Thank you for reminding me. I was getting off on a tangent. Yes, Kimbers, please call. I guess we'll stay here. Let's see. Kimbers, let me text you. Hello. Hold on a sec. Let me put you on speaker. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for going in and then giving us a call. I can't wait to hear your experience.
Oh, it was interesting and funny. I have a funny story, but
Okay.
So I'll quickly just give you a rundown.
Sure.
I got there first thing. I was the first one in there about 7:30. And the bailiff asked me, are you family? I said no. He's like, well, so what happens here is the family comes in on both sides, and then we see if there's enough room for anybody else. I said, okay. Turns out, to make a long story short, the family took up, that's when I texted you and said, I can't get in.
Okay.
So I sat there for a minute, and the woman that I talked to when I first got in there, she just kind of looked at me. She's like, I'm so sorry you were sitting here since, 7. I'm like, that's okay. So I started, I walked away and I got to the elevator lobby, and somebody came up to me and said, oh, hey, everybody else was in, and they said, oh, hey, you can go there's one more chair in the media room. Would you like it? And I'm like, right. I don't know what the media room is, but sure. So I got to go in the media room. There was probably about 6 people in there. It's really small, stuffy. And so I I was able to watch some of the trial, and it was, what was her name? Dr. Sarah West
Okay.
for the defense.
Okay.
So took a break, came back to the media room, and it was lunchtime, and this woman court administrator comes in and says, "Hey, is there a North Olmsted media person here?" And I'm like, I looked around and I'm like, are they talking about me? So I said, well, I'm from North Olmsted. They're like, oh, she goes, can you come with me? And I'm like, oh boy. So she's like, we didn't get your media credentials. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. They called me back in and said I was leaving from, the elevator lobby, and they said I could sit in there. I'm not media. But here's the funny part, you guys. I had a courtroom confidential t-shirt on. Josh?
Yep, sure. Yeah.
So they thought I was media, and that's why they ran and got me and pulled me back in and said, you can go in the media room. Not because I was just an observer, but because they saw my shirt and thought I was media.
Nice.
So today is the day that I officially got kicked out of the courtroom. They made me leave. And I'm like, I seriously did not do this on purpose. I was not trying to portray that by wearing my shirt. I said, I just love my shirt.
Right.
A true crime junkie here, and they're just looking at me. They didn't think it was too funny. So that was pretty funny. But I do have a couple things that I got from a lawyer that I was sitting next to in the media room. I found out the jury makeup, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I asked him if he was in the courtroom at any time. He said yes. It's too crowded in there, so I chose to sit out there. So let me look at my notes real quick.
Right.
But isn't that funny? I'm like, am I getting arrested here for trying the media? I'm gonna email Josh and tell him he almost got me arrested.
Right. Oh, he'll love that. Yeah, you should. Yeah, email that. He'll pull it up during his stream. Right. You can call, or you call in, you leave a message, and then he pulls that up or something. Doesn't he do that?
Oh, for Sunday Fun Day. Maybe.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I had a similar experience with when we went to Ashley Benefield. We did her sentencing, and there was kind of a similar experience with that. But go ahead. We'll focus on Bionca.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, and before let me tell you the jury makeup. Then I did end up in the bathroom at the same time as Margot, so I was able to tell her, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh wow!
I think that I can see you on my computer screen, and I think I'm delayed and I'm talking over you. So
no, you're all good. You're all good.
Okay. So there's 16 total for alternates.
Okay.
And he said they're about an average of middle age. He said he didn't see anybody, elderly. And he says he almost positive, he's not 100%, but there were 10 women and 6 men.
Okay.
So I did get that out of him. Let me see what else.
And this is coming from who again? Who is this coming from?
Oh, it's coming from a lawyer that I sat next to in the media room.
Okay. Gotcha.
And he was in the, he was there all week, and he was actually in the room, in the trial, and not the media room. So he was able to see the jury.
Right.
So that was the first question I asked him. I said, I'm not going to be able to get in there, I don't think. Can you tell me what the jury makeup is? I said, I have to tell my peeps. And he's like, well, who's your peeps? I said, a lot of people. I don't know. from many different states and even countries.
Right.
So, yeah, that's about it. And then when the administrator told me I had to leave, well, she said, you can wait till after lunch and see if you can, we're not kicking you out, but you can't see in the media room.
Right.
So if you want to stay to see if you can get into the courtroom. So we don't typically here in this court have anybody else but family. It's rare that we get someone that just wants to come and observe.
Gotcha.
So I thought that was interesting. Nobody wants to come down there and observe, but so yeah, that was about it. So I did see the family. There was about 4 people, 4 family members for Bionca, as far as I can tell. And there are definitely, I was counting as the other family came in for Margot and Julian, and there was, before I went into the media room, there was probably about 14, and there were a few still coming in.
Wow.
So they took up the entire courtroom, and there was no way to get in there.
So it's have you actually seen the courtroom? Is it that small or
I got to be honest with you, I've never been in there. It's the felony courtroom, and thank God I've never been.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Okay.
Seen inside of there before, but they wouldn't squeeze me in there.
So that has to
stayed.
That has to be a very small courtroom then. If 14, I wonder if they sat on the state side, because usually, family for the defense sit with the defense, and family for the state sit with the state. So if there was overflow and they could only fit, like, say, 10 people behind the state for the Woods, did they then go sit on Bionca's side? Because that would be awkward,
Yeah, I think it must be small. Because so when I was in the media room, there was another woman that sat in another seat next to me. She said she left the courtroom and came in the media room because it was so cramped and so hot in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many?
I had a small experience.
No, that's great. That's awesome. Do you think you're going to go back next week at all, or was this was a one shot?
I'm kind of bummed because when I emailed you, I said I would love to go for closing.
Yeah.
And I'm just probably not going to be able to get off work.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of bummed about that. But
Right. All right. Well, as long as we have you, I have other questions. As far as like, okay, so the media room where you were, how many, like, what media was there? It was like Court TV, Law and Crime, or like, were you able to identify who was there?
In where I was sitting inside the media room.
Yeah.
It was literally the size of a bathroom. And they were not very friendly, and they didn't really talk to me. I'm a talker. And I try to talk a little bit. And the only one that I really got the conversation was from the lawyer.
Okay.
They had badges sitting on the table, and I was trying to look.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But I did see the one gentleman that was, I think I told you, live view. He had it on his bag. So
yeah,
he was actually going in the courtroom though.
Right.
So the media room is so tiny. It's so tiny.
Yeah. Now the live view is the unit that you use. That's when I went to Sarah Boone. That's the one that Scott from Recovery Addict. He sent that to us, so we took that. So that's the streaming hardware that you take. It's a package. It's a hardware. It's like a hard drive, if you will. And then you plug into the court feed, and then you have modems, and then the modems send out, and then that's how we were able to stream Sarah Boone using Scott's equipment. So he wasn't. It's interesting that he had a live view shirt. So he was like really throwing down that he was a tech. He was really throwing down that he was a techie. But when I went to Ashley Benefield, it was kind of the same thing where Court TV had the media room, and then they threw everybody else in like a broom closet. And it literally was, there was a table, and there was like probably 10 people sitting in there, and that was it. So I plugged in, and I agree, they weren't the nicest. Now, when I was at Sarah Boone, they were really friendly, really nice. I didn't have cables. I didn't have, they were like, yeah, here, use this cable here. And this was all like the local, like the ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, all those guys. And their camera people were really, really friendly and really helpful. But then at Ashley Benefield, I had the exact same experience you had. Everybody was kind of like hostile to me. And I was just like, okay. So I just plugged in my stuff, and I sat in the hallway. But then to your point, Jules was with us we were together at that point. She was in the courtroom. I was in the media room, quote unquote media room, which, like you said, it's like a broom closet or bathroom. Yes. And the information officer comes to me afterwards. They're like, who's this Trial TV Live? Where are they? And the woman from Court TV like points to me, and and this woman just went off on me. I'm like, what the hell? What did I do wrong? And Aaron had gone to such lengths to contact this woman and said, please tell us what we need. Because we had gone through Sarah Boone in October, and this was the beginning of December, so we kind of knew the deal. So Aaron went through all this emails with this woman, say, here's our media credentials. Please send us what you need. Because we have a pass for Orlando, and Ashley Benefield was happening in Bradenton, so that's over by Tampa Bay. So Aaron was on top of it, and this woman never replied back. And then she just comes into me because we didn't have media badges, we didn't have the media pass. So she just goes off on me, and I was really upset because I'm like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm here because you told us we were allowed to be here. So Jules was able to smooth it over. So Jules came to the rescue. She rescued me from the jaws of the lion there. But so I can feel your pain. I've been there. So I can feel your pain. So was there outside? Was there media presence outside? Was there like local news, like 3, 5, and 8 and 19? Were they outside at all?
I gotta tell you, it was really quiet. I didn't see one news truck. No, I didn't see any. I actually thought it was quieter than. How can I say this? I thought I was going to be pushed away or pushed out immediately. Mm-hmm. And I was literally the only one sitting in the lobby of the courtroom until about 8:10. Mm-hmm. And then Julian's family came in, and I still didn't see any media or anything except for, what I just told you, the live view. Right. And there wasn't a lot of media there.
Interesting.
It was kind of strange. Right. But I was told when I was being, kicked out, mm-hmm. that, this is a big case. I said, why do you think I'm here? I kind of had to get smart with the bailiff guy because he was just treating me like crap. Mm-hmm. I said, you're the one that ran after me, not him, but, one of your administrators came in back and got me and told me I could sit in the media room. They weren't very nice. Not very nice. Wow.
Now, I wonder if once the closing arguments and verdict watch come in, I wonder if that will bring in, because a lot of times what happens is they won't, they'll just go there and they'll do like a news bump just for like 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news, or 12 noon. So they'll send a crew out and they'll just sit in front of the courtroom and they'll do like a 5-minute news bump, and then they'll go to the next story. And then I'm amazed that then once the verdict watch comes in, that's when everybody descends. So I'm wondering if once closing arguments are done and a verdict watch comes in, and then a verdict comes in, if there'll be more of a media presence,
That makes sense. I did say when I was sitting in the media room to one of the girls, I asked her if she was in the courtroom, and she said no, this was her first time. She had a media badge, but I couldn't tell what it was from. And mm-hmm. she said she anticipates a lot more coverage. I'm assuming she meant media Tuesday, which is the closing argument. And I'm kind of bummed because I think I told you in the email I wanted to go. I said that. Mm-hmm. I should have just waited Tuesday, but
it's all right. It's see, that's the thing with trials. It's like you never know. Like you just never know with the time with cross examination. They try to get it as scheduled and timed as close as they can, but you just never know. It's hard. It's just really hard, and especially if you are on a limited schedule yourself, and it's really hard to to make that align. So don't be hard on yourself. I mean, hey, at least you were able to get to the courtroom today, and you had that experience, and you can put that in your memoirs someday.
Yeah. So they didn't. Are you saying they haven't put out the trial for today?
As far as I know, let me see. Aaron was watching it all today, and they. We do get cross from, but that's from yesterday. But they cut her off. They cut. It was Dr. West, I guess. They give like maybe 5 minutes, and then they just cut her off. And literally, you'll see. I'm going to play it after the cross. They literally just cut her off right in the middle. And I'm looking on.
She was fantastic, Dr. West, Sarah West.
Yeah.
She was the forensic psychiatrist. She was great.
So you were able to watch that. Her testimony in the media room. You were able to watch that.
Yeah, for about an hour. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Law and Crime puts it out because they've been putting out some other videos after the fact. But I don't know. Yeah, Court TV just ended it. They just ended it. So, Unfortunately, yeah, the main thing is we're going to hear Testa's, Dr. Testa. Now we have a full, her full testimony, at least her direct. Cross might be disjointed. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I really wanted to hear this, from start to finish, and it just seems like it's, it is disjointed.
It was really nice to sit there for that little time that I was in there and just watch it completely through. With no interruptions.
Yeah.
And I did hear that the defense rests today. I don't know if you heard that or not. But,
I think we did hear that. I did know that. So closing arguments are going to be Tuesday. So that means they will be. Did you hear how long judge was giving them? Did you hear that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that either. So we'll have to figure that out. Because they may get like an hour each. They may give them an hour each, and then jury instructions would be maybe a half hour to an hour. So I would say if they come in at 9, they'll be at lunchtime. They're going to be in verdict watch by by lunchtime or so.
Yeah.
So we could have a verdict by the end of the day.
I hope so. This is one trial that was so close to home that really gives me a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah. Now, from a local standpoint, are you watching like I said, the 3, 5, 8, 19? Are they covering it like 6 and 11? Are you able to watch that, or what are people talking about there?
You know what? I don't watch the news. I don't even actually have a TV. I just have.
Nice.
I don't. I have my phone and I'm on YouTube.
Right.
And occasionally I'll take a look at it, but no, I haven't really watched any of the 3, 5, 8.
Right. Okay. Interesting. All right. What about, let's see, what else? I was going to ask you, kind of reading through chat, if anybody has any questions for you. Guys, if you have any questions, please post them, and I'll go ahead and ask Kimbers. Let's see, what else? I lost my train.
Yeah, I'm not able to see chat, really, so sorry if you guys have said something. I'm sure I can scroll back up when I'm done.
Yeah.
It was really exciting. I will tell you that much. It's the first time I've actually been to a trial like this. And I'm glad I went. Just even for that little bit of experience to see even what the media room looks like, which I thought would be a bit more glamorous. But
right. Now, you're on the west side then, so if something happens in Cleveland downtown, you wouldn't be able to go to that?
So I live in North Olmsted. I'm literally 2 minutes away from where the crime happened.
Right.
And I go to that Giant Eagle at least 2, 3, 4 times a week. Right. I work downtown, almost by where the courthouse is.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm probably about 20 minutes from downtown.
Okay.
From my house, and I'm 2 minutes away from my job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, so let me throw this out to you, because there's another, I think it's Deshaun. He's the defendant, or the guy who killed his grandmother and then shot the police officer. Do you know that guy?
No,
he's
what
also,
is that?
Yeah, he's also...
writing it down.
Yeah, he's also going through a competency hearing right now. I think, hold on a sec. I think it's Deshaun. I'm not sure. Shoot, I don't have his name offhand right now. Let me see. Hold on. Let me Google it. Cleveland man.
And this happened in Cleveland?
Yeah. That's why. Yeah. All right. Delonte Hardy. I wasn't even close. I'm thinking Deshaun Watson. There you go. Delonte Hardy. So he's accused of murdering his grandmother, Beatrice Porter, and then this was July of 2024. And then he killed Jamison Witter a week later. 24-year-old was subsequently indicted on multiple charges. So prosecutors alleged June 28th he shot his 63-year-old grandmother, Garfield Heights. And then on July 4th, police received a tip he was home. So Jamison Ritter came, and then he was shot. So right now, I think he's there. Let's see, hold on. Okay, judge extends time to restore competency. So this was September 17th. So this was last month. Yeah, he was entered into Central Ohio Behavioral Health Care. See if he can be restored to competency. Court discovered last week he had not been taking his meds to treat his schizophrenia because he refused. So I don't know where this would be. If it's at Garfield Heights, I don't know if you'd be able to make it there. If it's going to be in downtown, I'm not sure where the trial would be held. But I'm just throwing that out there. If there's another trial that's in the area, if you would be up for going again.
I would love to. I'll have to check that out. Garfield Heights is not far at all from me.
Okay.
That's on the highway. But I actually think that would end up at the Justice Center where Bionca Ellis is at. I believe, because I don't think there's another courthouse that would handle that type of trial. But I'm going to look into that for sure.
Okay.
And it is a little bit familiar to me now that you're saying it. So I'll find out. And I would, I definitely. I bet you that would be easier to get into than this one. This one was just so much family. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and anytime a little kid is involved, I mean, a 63-year-old grandmother's, that's sad as well. But anytime a 3-year-old is involved, it's just rips your heart. Just rips your heart.
Yes. And Margot is just lovely.
Can you tell us what you guys talked about, or what
It was really fast, and I'm going to tell a secret here. I actually saw her go in the bathroom, and I'm like, I have to use the bathroom. I just wanted to tell her, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I kind of wanted to get a close up of her, and she was with her family, very, smiling and laughing, but you know what I mean, not happy, but just really, really nice to see that when she was with her family, that she was not, I don't know what I thought I was going to see from her, but she looks so young, like she could be my daughter, and she's just beautiful. And so she was washing her hands, and I said, hi, Margot, my name's Kim, and I'm also a resident of North Olmsted, and I came in here to support you. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in, but I am so, so sorry. And she goes, thank you so much. But there is one thing she said to me. She said, don't shop at that giant eagle anymore. So I can't. It's like my giant eagle, but I just don't think I can do it anymore.
I know.
And that was it, because her sister actually came out of the bathroom and just smiled at me. And well, I think it's her sister. They look like twins.
Right.
I was not introduced to her, but so it was really good to see her with all the support she had.
Right. That's nice. I'm glad that you had that interaction, and I'm sure she's getting all kinds of support, but it's always nice to hear it one more time, Yeah, quote unquote, I had to use the bathroom. I was like, I need to just say something to her before I leave. If I can't stay, I at least have to say something to her. Yeah. So we do have a question. A lot of people are saying no questions, but they really appreciate what you're doing and saying hello and love to you. And so Chris Mass says, did you get to hear stuff that we didn't while in the media room? We actually haven't played anything yet from today, but I think you kind of talked about that you saw the testimony from Dr. West.
Yeah, that was the only thing that when I was actually brought into the media room before I was leaving, they were already a little bit into her direct. And so I would say I saw I think it was about an hour. And then, that's when the administrator came in and said I had to leave.
Gotcha.
No, she, I did take a note about, I know you guys are going to watch it, but she completely supports the not guilty with the reason of insanity. She truly believes that Bionca just was completely in a schizophrenic sort of mode at that time. Yeah. And I have to tell you, hers was probably the most interesting to me that I've heard so far, her testimony.
Okay.
She's really good. And, it also depends on where you stand on this. Some people say, everybody has their opinions, but
sure.
I happen to think she was excellent, and I didn't get to listen to her because I had to leave. But
okay, right now it's we get like 2 seconds or something. It's really frustrating. I hope I hope another channel like Law and Crime, they've been posting videos of full testimony. So I hope that we can get that, and then we would show that on Tuesday. Yeah, we'd show that, or maybe we'd show it Monday. Yeah, because Monday is Donna. We're going to do Donna. It's a Donna Palooza. Yeah, we're going to do Donna on Monday because all the other courts are off. Ellis is off, and the Daisy Link down here in Florida is off too. So, but thankfully Donna will give us entertainment.
For sure. So. I didn't realize that Dr. West was sitting next to me waiting to get called in, and I wish I would have known. I would have maybe picked her brain.
Oh, right.
Well, I didn't know it was her.
I know. But yeah. No, that's cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I will let you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this, and we'll definitely be in touch. I mean, we have each other's numbers, and
yes.
If I hate to say it like this because it sounds like the only way we're talking is like, oh, there's going to be a trial, and generally it's going to be a criminal trial, and generally somebody's going to be, not on the earth anymore. So it's like this weird thing, but I am happy that we met. And
me too, Chris. Thank you so much.
We'll be the next time we'll be talking is you going into a criminal trial for us, which is so awkward and weird, but it is what it is. This is what we do, so.
Last funny thing I before we go is when the administrator came in to get me, she's like, "Can I see you outside?" And everybody, turned around and stared at me. And I said to the lawyer, "Hey, stick around. I might need you."
Nice.
Anyways,
that's
okay.
Great.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you.
Chat.
All right. Take care.
Soon.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Kimbers. Thank you, Kimbers. Yes. Everybody's saying thank you. Thank you, Kimbers. Thank you for your insider info there. That was great. All right. So let's get to cross-examination now. We're going to get to cross of Dr. Testa. All right. Let me come over here.
The judge in this case.
Sorry for that. I hate when it does that. All right, I got to pull myself over here. All right, hold on. Let me get this queued up.
Rebuttal case. And then, after a day off Monday for Columbus, she's accused of shooting and killing her boyfriend, Pedro, in Ohio. The toddler stab murder trial is underway this morning. The defense presenting its last witness to the jury before the state presents a rebuttal case. And then, after a day off Monday for Columbus Day, they'll have closing arguments on Tuesday. And this hour, we're replaying some of the on-air testimony from yesterday. The judge in this case is preventing the broadcasting of the testimony until court is done for the day. So we're going back and we're looking at the first witness that the defense put forward for this jury, Dr. Megan Testa. We watched the direct examination. Now let's go back into the courtroom where she's on cross.
Ma'am, you have not only worked at North Coast Behavioral, but were you not also part of the court psychiatric clinic here in Cuyahoga County?
I worked here during my fellowship training. So I did do evaluations here from 2010 to 2011.
And at that time, who was the head of your department?
Dr. Phil Resnick.
And you worked under Dr. Phil Resnick, and you studied under Dr. Phil Resnick.
That's correct.
All right. Mr. Mack asked you several questions with regards to competency.
Yes.
And that is the only thing that you were asked to do in this case.
That's correct.
And you did it as kind of an adjunct at North Coast because though you are employed by them, you also see other patients.
Well, my employment at North Coast is part-time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm a part-time. I go there about once a week as a part-time employee.
All right. So you're not there full-time.
No.
So when you rely on those 20-day stays in order for you to make your determination, you are relying on the other folks that are doing the actual observations.
So I would do my own mental status evaluation and a chart review. I would only be doing the evaluation, not the treatment.
Okay. So if we start with Defense Exhibit I,
Yes.
that you've authored and testified to, you indicate here, do you not, that you also reviewed Dr. Hatters-Friedman's information?
Correct. Yes.
All right. And can you tell me what you learned from that information?
Yes, like describe, do you want me to describe her opinion?
Yes. And what
Yes.
page were you on?
I'm going to find it right now. I think it's on page 8.
All right. And with regards to Dr. Hatters-Friedman, where was that evaluation done?
Dr. Hatters-Friedman evaluated Miss Ellis at the Cuyahoga County Court Psychiatric Clinic.
Okay. And what were her interactions with her?
So she interviewed Miss Ellis on July 30th, 2024. She was court appointed and independent.
Okay. And so what were her observations with regards to Miss Ellis?
When she saw Miss Ellis was poorly cooperative throughout the evaluation. She presented as irritable. She said that she thrust forward her psychotic ideas. So that's when you throw them out there.
Okay.
For lack of a better word. She observed that she tried to ask the competency questions to Miss Ellis, and she made the statement, "I'm coherent."
I'm sorry, what did she say?
She said, I'm incoherent.
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 Okay, go ahead. And those were the words of Miss Ellis.
These are the words that Dr. Hatters-Friedman reported that Miss Ellis said.
Correct. Go
Yes. To her.
And what else did she say?
She told Dr. Hatters-Friedman that she needed to find an investigator and start an investigation.
All right. And then with regards to Dr. Hatters-Friedman making a determination as to competency at that particular time, was she able to?
She was not.
And why not?
She deferred to provide a diagnosis. So Dr. Hatters-Friedman noted in her report that she had insufficient information to make a diagnosis with a reasonable degree of medical certainty. So she could not opine whether or not she had a mental illness at that time. She didn't have enough information to make that decision.
Okay. And what were her observations of Miss Ellis's behavior at the time?
She noted that per jail records, she had been able to maintain some behavioral control despite refusing medications. She noted that she could not answer some simple questions, which was atypical. That means it's not a usual thing that we would see. She noted that for Miss Ellis to say she was incoherent, that was unusual. And Dr. Hatters-Friedman's words were, she could not determine if Miss Ellis's behavior during the time she saw her in the court clinic was behavioral or related to a mental illness. She could not make a decision.
Okay. So therefore, she was sent then to North Coast.
Yes.
So explain to us, to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when they first come to North Coast, where are they placed and what kind of observation units are they in?
When Miss Ellis came to North Coast, this is typical of individuals who are coming in for competency evaluation. She is placed on what's called a competency restoration unit. It's a psychiatric unit. It is staffed with the typical types of professionals that you would see on a psychiatric unit, and it also has forensic experts as well. So she was placed on a unit with nursing staff, behavioral health staff, psychiatrists, medical doctors, and forensic evaluators that would monitor her 24/7. They'll document her behavior in the medical chart on a 24/7 basis.
And doctor, does the patient...
All right, let's get a break. We'll get more of this cross-examination of the defense.
And doctor, does the patient know that they are being monitored 24/7?
Yes.
And are they in their own isolated rooms, or do they have their own isolated rooms? Excuse me. And is there also a common area where peers meet and there's conversation and stuff of that sort?
Yes, that's exactly how it is. They will have rooms, and then there will be common areas as well.
And do they have access to the outside public?
People for 20-day evaluations would not have those types of privileges. Those come with levels.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Mack asked you a series of questions about all the medical and psychiatric care that she's had in the past.
Yes.
And there were several hospitalizations that you indicated that she was hospitalized for psychiatric treatment for failing to take meds.
That's
Is that
correct.
fair?
That's correct.
All right. Now, I just want to turn your attention to page 6, which all the way down at the bottom of the page is the second paragraph up, talking about the Metro Hospital ED that we've spoken about in this case. Can you tell us why she went there and what were their observations of her?
She went there after falling off a bus, and they addressed her leg pain. They noted that she was cooperative with the treatment of her leg pain. They did not notice anything abnormal about her emotional expression, and they noted that she made eye contact with them.
And doctor, what ED for the jury?
Emergency department.
Thank you.
And that was at Metro Hospital.
Yes.
All right. And that was on May 26th of 2024.
That's correct.
All right. So because she has this diagnosis, it follows her where she goes, correct?
That's correct.
And so back on May 26th of 2024, it appears that normal affect and good eye contact.
That's what's documented, yes.
All right. Now, there comes a point in time where she's at North Coast.
Yes.
And the doctor, based on his evaluation of her, wants to prescribe medications, right?
Yes.
And she refuses. I believe it's Dr. Baskin who is the prescriber of the medication.
Dr. Baskin was prescribing medication in the jail. Dr. Vanderkar was prescribing medication at North Coast.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's go to your report, Defense Exhibit I, page 17.
17, yes.
Okay. And at that point, on June 6th, Dr. Baskin diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder and prescribed Haldol.
That's correct. He wrote a prescription for it, yes.
All right. She, Miss Ellis, refused to take the medication.
Yes.
Okay. Is that a volitional act, refusing to take medication?
It's a choice, yes.
So it's a choice that someone makes.
Correct.
Now, during the time, Dr. Testa, that you met her the very first time,
Yes.
what was the setting?
North Coast Behavioral Health Care. I met her on the inpatient unit in a conference room.
And are there pleasantries that are exchanged? And do you tell her why you're there?
Always. I would always tell her why I'm there, what my purpose is, what I do and do not do, and that it's non-confidential.
And when you were doing that, what were your observations of Miss Ellis? Was she paying attention to you?
She was making eye contact at that time during the initial part of the interview.
Okay. So during the initial part, when you're kind of laying the ground rules, the foundation, you're going to be asking questions, fair? She's paying attention to you. She's making eye contact.
Yes.
Did you ask any questions during that particular period of time?
I asked her whether she understood what I had told her.
Okay. And did she understand?
Initially, her responses were bizarre. I was not satisfied that she understood. So I went back through the statements again to ensure that she was paying attention, and she indicated that she understood.
Okay. All right. So she had, I believe you told Mr. Mack, very unusual affect.
Affect, yes.
Affect.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we'll hit a break, but first, Sonny Slaughter, the prosecution.
So I just want to thank Kimbers again for being in the courtroom for us, such as it is. Just want to say thank you again for that. Really appreciate you going in and being in the courthouse and the media room. So just want to say thank you again for that, and looking forward to our next trial.
So when she is giving you these unusual things or saying these unusual things, do you question her about those things? And how they apply or don't apply?
If I will redirect. So if I'm asking her, where she was born, and she starts to talk about Jesus or the FBI, I will redirect. I will ask her again where she was born. Sometimes you can get an individual on track in conversation in that way. Sometimes, if the psychosis is heavy, they will continue to talk about those things. During the competency part, I will ask how that's related to the charges. Sometimes you can pull people back. Sometimes they will continue on the psychotic thought process.
But just because they pull back doesn't mean they don't understand the question you're asking.
That's fair. It could be that they don't understand and they don't want to answer, or it could be that they're unable to.
Unable to, or they choose not to.
It could be either or.
So a person can have psychosis. No one is disputing that someone has schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder. But just because a person has those mental illnesses, that does not equate with not understanding or not appreciating something, correct?
That's correct. It's not a definite.
Now, when you made your diagnostic impressions back in September
Yes.
3rd of 2024, you make some unspecified diagnoses, ma'am, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And so can you tell me those unspecified diagnoses that you make?
I made the psychiatric diagnoses of unspecified schizophrenia spectrum and other psychotic disorder. That diagnosis, it referred to her history of delusional and disorganized thinking, auditory hallucinations, and mood disturbances with insomnia, suicidal thoughts, acts of cutting, and I could not tell whether this was schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder.
And ma'am, is it fair to say that that diagnosis is made based on corroborating evidence that you had evaluated? You had evaluated medical records, you had done your own interview. That was based on corroborating evidence.
That's correct.
And then your other unspecified diagnosis was?
Unspecified cannabis-related disorder.
All right, and how did you come to that conclusion?
That diagnosis was given because there was demonstrated a history of cannabis use in the medical records. It appeared to have been a potential clinical issue for her, but the details of it were not there. It wasn't enough detail in the records to say whether it fit into a cannabis use disorder diagnosis.
But again, based on all the documents you had reviewed, corroboration that would bring you or lead you to that potential diagnosis.
Correct. That was from the records.
And then back on September 3rd, your final was that she was incompetent but restorable.
Correct.
Okay. And so then we're going to move right along to the, I believe it's dated February 1st, which is Defense Exhibit H.
That's correct.
All right. So in Defense Exhibit H, you also provide the same information that you had initially relied upon. All those records, they're all the same. They don't change.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, the historical information did not change.
And so then, but now it's a little bit different because she has been afforded medications.
Correct.
And now she's at a different level
Correct.
of understanding
Yes.
and cooperating.
Correct. Correct.
Now, on page 4 of your report, I believe you had a conversation with Miss Ellis about her own psychiatric history at the very bottom.
Yes.
And what does she tell you during that interview?
She told me that she had been a client of Murtis Taylor, and she said that she was treated at the agency for schizoaffective disorder. She said that she described her illness as manifesting with illogical thinking and mood swings.
All right. And so did she know what Murtis Taylor was?
Yes.
And that she had attended Murtis Taylor?
Yes.
So she's able to tell you where she was seeking her medical care,
Yes.
or psychiatric care, I should say, to be
Yes.
clear. So let's go on to page 5 here. I believe you and Mr. Mack talked about January of 2015 when she went to, I believe that one was, it's a little confusing here. It says January 2015 through October 2023. The reports.
All right, we're going to slip in a commercial break. We'll have more from Ohio.
You and Mr. Mack talked about January of 2015 when she went to, I believe, that one was, it's a little confusing here. It says January 2015 through October 2023. The reports were summarized for you with regards to the emergency department at Lutheran and then Fairview Hospital. And then I would like to talk about in January of 2015, Ms. Ellis' case manager took her to the emergency department at Lutheran Hospital.
That's correct.
All right. So if we just go back to, well, I guess in January of 2015, why did her manager take her to the emergency department?
Her case manager took her to the emergency department because she had not slept for 5 days. She was hearing voices and she was seeing visions. So the case manager brought her in seeking help for her.
Okay. And what happened?
She sneaked out of the ED on that day. She did not end up being evaluated. She was able to elope from that emergency department.
Okay. And then in December of that year, Ms. Ellis went back to the Lutheran Emergency Department. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, she was there for treatment of a wound. There's no description of her mental health state at that day. They didn't discuss it.
Okay. On February 2016, did she again go to the Lutheran ED?
Yes.
And why did she go there?
She went there with physical health complaints. She said she was feeling faint and dizzy. She was taking medications at that time. She was taking an antipsychotic medication, Seroquel, that was noted in the medical record. She was cooperative with care and had a workup for medical issues on that day. She was noted to have normal behavior and was able to be discharged from the emergency room.
Okay. And so, and we go through the whole history from 2015 to 2024.
Yes.
Right? And so you've got inpatient psychiatric treatment and outpatient psychiatric treatment. Is that fair?
That's correct.
All right. So not every time that she went to an emergency department was it for psychiatric issues.
That's correct.
Now, turning to page 7 of your report, ma'am.
Yes.
You review the records from the Cuyahoga County Jail, the medical treatment that she was receiving there.
Yes.
Paragraph number 4, her interactions with Dr. Baskin. And
Yeah.
what were his observations of her?
He described her as initially being limited in her willingness to engage with him. He said that she spoke to him in a curt manner. She conveyed annoyance with him. He described her as bizarre in many of her answers, disjointed, and paranoid. That was on June 6th, 2024. He diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder. He prescribed Haldol and Cogentin, but she refused to take the medication. He then did a series of follow-up visits. He saw her on June 14th, July 5th, July 26th, and August 21st. He described her as standoffish, guarded, irritable, eccentric, and he continued those prescriptions, but she declined to take them.
And why didn't she take them?
He said that she didn't give a reason, but what his exact words were was she declined to take them without discernible reasons apart from believing she did not require them.
All right. So, Dr. Testa, you had all this corroborating evidence during the first interview of Ms. Bionca Ellis, and then the second interview of Bionca Ellis, when you deemed her to be competent to stand trial.
That's correct.
All right. Now, Mr. Mack just touched upon it, but let's talk about it a little bit. Because, ma'am, you are a forensic scientist,
Yes.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Forensic psychiatrist, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And being one, you also sometimes have the opportunity to evaluate folks for insanity.
That's correct.
And insanity is a legal definition. Would you agree with me?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. And so, ma'am, you started talking with Mr. Mack with regards to what are the method and mode of providing a insanity evaluation? What kinds of things do you look at?
So what you would look at, what your role would be to provide an opinion about the person's mental state at the time of the offense. So a person would do an evaluation and a diagnostic evaluation, but their main focus would not be on the day you're seeing the person. Your main focus would be to review records. You would get a lot of records from police. You would get records from any outside sources. You would review witness reports describing the person's behavior on the day of the offense, and you would review all of that. You would also do a very detailed interview with the defendant themselves. You would ask them a lot of questions about the event. What happened? Why did you do what you did? Were you taking meds at the time? You would get a history of how the preceding days leading up to the crime went. You get that history in great detail, and you would learn all of that from the defendant themselves. And you would have to put all that information together and synthesize all that to form an opinion.
And ma'am, is it fair to say that self-reporting is not enough?
Self-reporting is not enough. You would get their self-report. You would need that self-report because only that person knows certain things. But you have to look at a lot of extraneous information as well, contemporaneous information. You would want to look at the witness reports and look at observations from others.
And doctor, when you're assessing, you consider the symptoms of the severe mental disease or defect, correct?
That's correct.
The knowledge of the wrongfulness of the offense.
That's correct.
And then there would be a causal link between the symptoms and any unimpaired knowledge of the wrongfulness of the act.
That's correct.
Or offense.
Yes.
And then the motive for the offense, would that be considered?
We do consider that because that tells us the why, and that tells us if it's related to their mental illness and if they know it's wrong. So that's a key to look at as well, whether it's rational or irrational.
So you'd look at the rational or irrational component.
That's correct, yes.
But you didn't do it in this case.
I did not do any of that.
No. We're just talking in generalities of what a forensic scientist does.
Correct.
All right. And so you can be psychotic, yet still know the wrongfulness of your actions.
Of course.
But you can also be psychotic and not know the wrongfulness of your actions.
Absolutely.
All right. Doctor, does mental illness equate with legal insanity?
No, mistake.
Well,
Yeah, we could.
Let's go ahead and bring in our guest.
Dr. Psychosis, Insanity, same thing?
I'm hesitant because it was objected to before. Go ahead with it. Psychosis is a medical term.
Thank you.
And insanity is a legally defined term.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you recall that Ms. Faralia had you go to, I believe it was page 6 of Defendant's Exhibit I, your September 2024 report?
Yes.
There was some mention of the May 26th, 24th interaction with one of the doctors regarding normal eye contact. You recall
Correct.
that? Did you learn that 3 days later, May 29th of 24, that Ms. Ellis was jailed in the North Olmsted?
Yes.
Okay. And would it surprise you to know that a corrections officer identified her appearance and mental health status as, the question was, is the inmate's conduct, appearance, and mental health status normal? And the answer was no. Would that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Again, just make sure the jurors have it. Why is it such a high rate of noncompliance with medication for this population?
Individuals with schizophrenia often have what's called a lack of insight into their illness. So the symptoms that individuals feel and perceive feel very real. They often don't agree with their diagnosis, and so they will make a choice not to take medications because they don't believe they have the illness. So just like if you or I, if someone told me to take medications for diabetes and I did not have diabetes, I would decline that medication. Is it a voluntary decline? Of course, but if my mind's not in reality, I can voluntarily decline. It's really not a good choice. I wouldn't have had the capacity to truly consider that and make a good decision for myself.
Do you have any reason to believe that Ms. Ellis was not a mentally ill schizophrenic prior to June 3rd of 2024?
No, the records disprove that. She was ill for years before.
Okay. Is there any reason to believe that she was not ill during the month of June of 2024?
No, I would not believe that. She was not taking medications, and there would be no reason to believe that she was not ill.
Okay. Dr. Judge, may I take one moment, please?
Sure.
Well, that concludes that testimony from the doctor on the stand. And again, this took place yesterday. The court for today has already started back up. But due to that court order, we are unable to air today's testimony until the end of the day. So in the meantime.
All right, here's where they get squirrely. But let's go through Cross. So we broke and talked to Kimbers after direct, so Cross came in. And then they're talking about an evaluation July 30th of 2024 from a Dr. Hedis Friedman. That was also court appointed, and that was independent. So that and during that evaluation, Bionca was poorly cooperative. She was irritable. She said, "I'm incoherent." You needed to find an investigator. She needed to find an investigator and start an investigation. He was not able, or I think it was a she was not able to make a diagnosis, so Bionca was sent to North Coast. Then they talk about she fell off a bus. She was treated for leg pain. Then when she met Bionca, she was making eye contact during the initial part. Her answers were bizarre, so she went back and she asked questions again. And then she says that's a tactic. Like if they go off topic, they just redirect them back. Could be that they don't understand, or they don't want to answer, or they choose not to answer. So yep, there's always that. She talked about cannabis use, but that didn't. That's as far as they took that. They didn't really explore that any further. She ultimately diagnosed her as she was incompetent, but she was restorable. They talked about the illogical thinking and mood swings while at Murtis Taylor. was able to say where she was seeking psychiatric care. So she was able to tell her. So she was able to say, yeah, I've been to this facility, Murtis Taylor. They go back to talking about she hadn't slept for 5 days, and then she actually snuck out of that emergency department, and she wasn't evaluated. Wow. I think I would be feeling like I'd probably be hallucinating if I hadn't slept for 5 days. Good grief. Then they talk about 2016 when she went to the ER. She was feeling faint and dizzy, but she was on meds and she was cooperative. Let's see. Then they talk about the June 6th evaluation with Dr. Baskins. Limited in engaging with him. She had a curt manner. She was acting bizarre. He prescribed meds, but Bionca refused to take them. He saw her 4 more times. He said she was eccentric. She was guarded. He prescribed more meds, but she declined to take them. And the cross asked why. Well, she didn't give a reason other than she didn't require them. And we heard earlier that she thought bananas, riboflavin, and apples were what she required. I mean, taken in out of context, bananas and apples, not a bad way to go. But again, taken out of context. Let's see what else. Okay, so then insanity is a legal term. Let's see. So she talks about self-reporting is not enough. Does mental illness equate legal insanity? And that was objected to, and then redirect comes back. Psychosis is a medical term, insanity is a legal term. And there's evidence that she was ill well before June 2024. Let's see. JMS, didn't on cross the prosecutor bring up there was one doctor who wasn't sure if she was acting out? I don't recall that. Let me pull that over there. I don't recall that, but that would be malingering, and that would be testing. They would have tests for that. So I don't recall that. Let's see. Virtuous says, so know that she's on meds. I assume that she knows what she's done, but I'm wondering if she knows the gravity of what she's done. Well, with Carlos, he took the stand, and I think that won him. Is not guilty on 2 counts, and they hung on the 3rd count. So he took the stand, and he talked about these shadow figures coming at him, and that's why he had to go, stab these people. It'd be interesting if she takes the stand. Joe Schmo, the most I have made it without sleep was 45 hours. Wow, I started hallucinating at about hour 40. Don't ask me what I was hallucinating, right? All right, so here's where it gets wonky with trial, because now they go to now they come down and they do Daisy Link. So we do, though. Oh, my goodness. Talk to me, Rafa. All right, here's where it gets wonky. We literally get to hear like 5, I don't even know if it's 5 minutes, 5 seconds. And then they just cut it off. It's kind of a bummer. I'm hoping that another channel will upload it over the weekend so we can watch. Actually, let me check before, Rafa, dude. Man. Now, just be aware, they're literally going to cut this off in mid-sentence, but.
Witness, another forensic psychiatrist. The defense argues that Ellis is not guilty of murdering a 3-year-old boy by reason of insanity, saying she was schizophrenic and had been off her meds at the time of the stabbing and couldn't really appreciate the nature of her actions. However, the prosecution claims that Ellis knew what she was doing when she followed Margaret Wood and her son, Julian Wood, out of a grocery store and stabbed them, both killing Julian. Well, today the defense called another forensic psychiatrist who testified.
Yeah, right, Rafa? Right. I hear you. That's all we get. She looked like an elf. That's all we get. Oh, I'm so bummed. All right, hopefully they'll upload it over the course of the weekend or something. So, yeah, exactly. I'm bummed too, man. I'm bummed as well. All right. Chris. Meow. What a sweet little meow. Mine meow loud and like she should be wearing a helmet. Nice. Right, Rex? Court CTV, you upset Rafa. Gonna storm the gates. Here, wait. Can I? He's over. He's upset. Oh, here, wait. There. Tell us all about it, Rafa. Come on. Tell us about it. Are you upset that they didn't show more testimony? Tell me how you feel. Are you upset? Are you upset? He's upset. Let's see, virtuous. Yeah, you got to take what you can get, right? Let's see. Denny Dawn, I would think, hold on a sec. I would think they would do it to the person that was by them at the moment, not walking into the store and doing what she did. I don't know. Again, we don't know. All right, exactly. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. See, I think that's where we're getting off speculating. All right, dude. All right. You want to go out? Go on out. I know you probably just came in. See, I think that's the danger, if you will, is that we're speculating about, well, she should have done this, she could have done that. Why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? It's like we don't know. We don't know what's going on in her mind. And I go back to that Ed Gein an analogy where your brain is just it's like a mirror, right? And it's just shattered, and your thoughts are in 1,000 pieces. We don't know. We can speculate all we want about what she was thinking and why she did this or why she did that or didn't do this, didn't do that. But we don't know. We don't know until we can hear from her. Maybe she'll testify. I don't know. I would love it. I would love it if she testifies. Right, Riker? You gonna come up and say hello? Come say hello. Yeah, come say hello. It's my little buddy. I hope she does testify. I hope. I think I go back to Carlos. That trial really made an impression on me, and when he testified, I think that really helped him. I think it helped the jury really understand, because we were having the same conversations. If you guys were with us back then, we were having the same conversations then. It's like, how could you just do this? Especially to what was that guy's name? First victim. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting. It's gonna bother me now. I gotta go look. Hold on a sec. It's sad that I forget. Was it David? I think, right? David was his first victim. Let's see. I know it was Kareem, and oh, come on. Hold on a sec. That's not what I want. Trial notes. Let me get trial notes. David Bro, right? Yeah, it was David Bro. So, and Kareem. So it was let's see who else. It was David Bro. So that trial really helped me understand a lot about this. And Kimberly was the one that they hung on, and it was David and Kareem that they found him not guilty. And I think by him testifying, that really helped the jury kind of put this into perspective of like, because if you didn't hear him testify, you'd be like, oh yeah, no, you're guilty. You did this, and what's wrong with you, But no, David was the first one. David was first, right? He was first sitting on the bench, sleeping on the bench, and then it was Kareem riding his bike. Kareem was riding his bike. April 26th was David Bro, April 29th was Kareem, and May 1st was Kimberly. So David Bro was first. So, yeah, I mean, that him testifying really, for me, helped me. Well, actually, him testifying helped me understand his perspective, but it was really the psychologists, right? I think it was the psychologist that testified. There was like two, and then one psychiatrist, and then a couple therapists, and they all, to a person, and they were court appointed, just like Testa there. So when you have a court appointed, forensic psychiatrist come in and tell you, I'm neutral. I'm sure she cares, but ultimately she doesn't care, right? I don't know. It's weird to put it that way. I'm sure she cares because she's a human being, and Bionca is a human. I mean, she is still a human being. And, if we just throw her to the wolves, we're no better than anybody else. So she is still a human being. So I'm sure Testa cares about her, but then she's also, look, I'm neutral. Here's my findings. You guys do with them what you will. So when somebody like that comes in and says what she said today, I'm like, all right, I have to look at that and be like, that's valid, up until, that's why I was really waiting to hear expert testimony in the sense of a psychiatrist coming in and giving their opinion after testing. So I appreciate that. Hopefully we'll be able to hear Dr. West's testimony. Really want to hear her testimony. So hopefully we'll be able to hear that. All right. Patty, what was the trial that the jury voted? It was Carlos Dominguez. We have that in a playlist. If you go to our website, listen to me. If you go to our channel and just go to our playlist or search for it, Carlos Dominguez, and that was a good trial. And he's coming back up. The state is going to recharge him for Kimberly, so the state is going to recharge him, and that's going to be in January. And we will cover that. We will definitely cover that. So. Psychosaurus Rex is court appointed. Yes. Sharon, thank you. Yeah, thank you. This has been a good. It's been a good week for you. Good week. We did. This was it. Was it this week that we had 4? Was it this week or last week? All right. Yeah, last week we had 4 verdicts. We did 4 verdicts last week. This week we had sentencing and 2 trials. So we've done 7 trials in 2 weeks. We've been covering seven trials in 2 weeks. So thank you guys for hanging with us. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys choosing to be with us. And, that means a lot. And Kimbers, awesome. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for going to the courthouse. Thank you for calling in. And Monday is going to be Donna. It's going to be a extravaganza of Donna. We're going to have some fun with Donna. Hope you guys join us. Yeah, I do too, Rex. I do too. Yeah, we cover so much. It's fantastic. All right, Shore Life. Good night to you. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to our mods. We got the best mods a channel could ever hope for. You guys are just fantastic. You keep it light. You keep us on the straight and narrow, because I have to focus on doing my recaps, right? I have to focus on my notes, so I can't always pay attention to chat. I try. I have one eye going that way and one eye going this way, but our mods do a great job. Our mods do a great job. Pammy, oh wait, Widespread says, you're a mod, but I told them I can't do mornings. I tried but failed. Pammy, thank you. Virginia, thank you. And for entertaining you. You know what? I'm glad that we entertain you, but I also hope that we educate you. I think at the end of the day, I want to educate you. I'm all about education. I love it when you guys educate me. I love it when you guys tell me something and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't know that. So I appreciate you guys educating me. I hope that we educate you guys as much as you educate me. I hope that we educate you. So yes, we can be entertaining, and I appreciate that. But I also want you guys to walk away from a stream and be like, all right, I didn't know that, and I'm that much more knowledgeable, because that to me just means everything. If you can walk away from a stream having learned something that you didn't know before, that's cool. So, all right. That being said, let's see. Yeah, we're going to be off this weekend, and we're working on something fun for Halloween. So keep your eyes out for that, and we'll be dropping that in next week, actually, about what we're going to do, our plans for Halloween. And with that, thank you to our mods. Thank you to Erin for all that she does. Riker's doing something up there on the shelf up there. All right. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you guys Monday, 9:30. We're going to start our extravaganza. Our Donna Day starts Monday at 9:30. Her sentencing is, I heard 3 o'clock, but then I also saw somebody posted 4 o'clock. So not quite sure. But, and yes, Sharon, at the end of the day, justice for Julian. Bionca's not going anywhere. I know you guys, I want justice for him as well. I mean, at the end of the day, I want justice for him as well. Bionca's not going anywhere. She's going to be, for what she did, she's going to either be in prison or she's going to be in a facility. And, that's just the bottom line. She's not going to be walking free. I mean, she's just not going to. So, and if she does, then our system really, really has failed. So I do have faith in the system still. And whatever the jury decides, they're going to decide. So, all right. Let's see. No, you're not going to watch? Come on, Denny. Join us. Come on. You have to watch. Join our Donna extravaganza. Just join our Donna extravaganza. So there's nothing else going on, to be quite honest. Courts are closed, so everybody's going to be covering Donna, or else they're going to be doing, side streams. So, all right, they're destroying the curtain over there. I got to split. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Aaron. Bye.